When Chikobi landed in America for the first time, he thought the cold weather or the strange new culture would be his biggest challenge. He was wrong. His biggest problem was much simpler and much more terrifying. He didn't have his wife's address. All he knew was that she was a student at Harvard University. That one small piece of information was his only hope. He clutched it tight as he stepped off the plane. A man on a mission, fueled by love and a growing sense of unease. He immediately bought a train ticket from New York to Mass. As he sat by the window, watching the unfamiliar landscape rush by, his mind raced with worry. He thought to himself, if I don't go, and something terrible has happened to her, how could I ever forgive myself? As her husband, it's my duty to find her, to protect her. The train sped forward, a symbol of his hope, but his heart felt heavy, weighed down by a fear he couldn't quite name. Hours later, he finally arrived in Massachusetts and made his way to the legendary Harvard campus. And that's when reality hit him like an icy blast of wind. It was Saturday. The campus was eerily quiet, the lecture halls empty, the walkways deserted. His wife was nowhere to be found. A wave of disappointment washed over him. But he refused to give up. He found a small hotel nearby, paid for 6 nights up front, and made a solemn vow to himself. I'm not leaving America, he whispered. Not until I find my wife. That night, he slept with her photograph resting on his chest. A desperate man clinging to a memory, completely unaware of the heartbreaking truth. Liza wasn't missing. She wasn't in danger. In fact, she was back in New York City, dancing in another man's arms. Liza's new lover, Robert, was everything Chikobi wasn't. He was wealthy, powerful, and showered her with gifts, attention, and a life of luxury she had only dreamed of. Robert knew she was married, but he didn't care. He was obsessed with her. After 4 months of a whirlwind romance, he decided he wanted her for good. That night, as they sat in his lavish apartment overlooking the city, Robert finally said the words he'd been holding back. His voice was soft, but his tone was firm. We've been together long enough, he said. I want to marry you, but you're another man's wife. Until you divorce him, I can't. Liza's heart felt like it was breaking, not for the husband she had left behind, but at the thought of losing Robert and the incredible life he offered. She looked at him, her eyes wide with a mix of panic and hope. If I divorce him, she asked, you'll really marry me? Robert nodded. Yes, he promised. I'll even pay for your flight to Nigeria. Go there, handle the divorce, come back, and I will put a ring on your finger. Liza didn't need to think twice. Her mind was made up in an instant. The life she wanted was right in front of her, and she was going to take it. 2 days later, she approached Robert with newfound determination. I'll travel within 24 hours, she declared. True to his word, he gave her the money for the ticket immediately. The next morning, Liza drove toward the Harvard campus. She just needed to pick up a few of her things before heading to the airport to fly to Nigeria. Her heart was pounding in her chest, not from guilt or remorse, but with pure, unadulterated excitement. She was so close to her new life, a life as Mrs. Robert. Meanwhile, back in Massachusetts, Chikobi woke up early. He put on his best clothes, trying to look presentable, respectable. He took the framed photograph of his wife, the one he slept with every night, and walked back to the Harvard campus. He found a spot near the main gate and stood there, a solitary figure against the grand, imposing architecture. He waited, he hoped, and he prayed. To every person who passed by, he would hold up the photo and ask, please, have you seen this woman? She is my wife. Most people just shook their heads and walked on, ignoring the desperate man at the gate. Then, the moment no one could have ever predicted arrived. A sleek, expensive car slowed down as it approached the entrance to the university. Behind the wheel was Lisa, ready to grab her clothes and leave her past behind. As she neared the gate, her eyes scanned the entrance, and then she saw him. It couldn't be. Standing there, looking lost and broken, was her husband, Chikobi. He was holding her framed photograph, showing it to strangers. He was looking for her. In that instant, her carefully constructed world shattered. Her past and her future collided right there at the gates of Harvard. She whispered to herself, her voice trembling, who am I seeing? Is that not my husband? Are my eyes deceiving me? What happens when a husband's desperate search ends in the most shocking way imaginable? The confrontation at Harvard Gate is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss episode 5.